Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 58th Rome Total War Brotherhood battle that I put onto YouTube. This is an unusual battle, as this is a 2v2. As most of you know, I usually put 3v3 or 4v4s on, so this is something a little bit different. The team today consists of myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction. And my teammate is a Brotherhood member, Crimson Overlord, who's called himself Boo Boo in this game, but it is actually Crimson Overlord. I'd just like you to have a look at his army for this 2v2. If you notice, he's got, I think it's 16 infantry, 1 archer, and 3 cavalry. So this should be quite interesting. It'll be interesting to see what numbers of cavalry the enemy brings, and whether infantry versus cavalry would be a good match. And here is the enemy team here. To start off with, we have Wolves KOA. That's Wolves King of All, and he is a veteran RTW player, well known and well respected by most RTW players. And the other teammate is someone called CLUBLAND Pro Noob. Now, a lot of really good players call themselves strange names from time to time, just for a bit of a joke or a laugh. And I'm sure this player's probably got a well-known name that we would all know, but that's what he's called himself in this game. As you can see, straight away, Crimson Overlord with his SBQ army is advancing on to the enemy Scipii army in front of him. Crimson's not one for holding back when it comes to attack, and especially in a 2v2 he seems to be quite aggressive. If you notice over to the left flank, you'll see that the Scipii archers there are shooting fire arrows onto the flank of Crimson infantry here. This will cause his infantry obviously casualties, but also will lower their morale as well. So that was a good move by the Scipii guy on our left there, firing his fire arrows into the flank of Crimson infantry there. If you notice that the Scipii cavalry are slowly moving out to my left, here's a close-up shot of the piler shield units exchanging pilers there. You can see the pilers going out and the ones coming in as well. See the casualties they were causing there.
We're under attack.
As I say, you can see the Scipii cavalry moving out to my left very slowly, and his archers are still firing loads of fire arrows onto the flank of Crimson's infantry. If you notice, one of Crimson's units is routed already. That was possibly through an attack by the enemy in front of him, plus the fire arrows hitting him as well. If you notice, that unit's rallied now, but its morale was lowered so much by the fire arrows hitting it that it actually routed from that part of the battlefield there. If you notice, the fire arrows are still coming down onto Crimson infantry there. And if you notice, that opposite him, the enemy general has got 5 cavalry. So we'll just see if that makes a difference against all the infantry that Crim has bought. At this early stage of the battle, you can see that the Scipii infantry and his cavalry are now attacking Crimson Overlord's army. If you see those 5 cavalry units with all that charge bonus is just charged straight into Crimson's infantry there. And also, if you notice that King of All had actually thrown in some infantry units as well there to kind of keep the enemy infantry engaged there, while he then charged his cavalry in. So that was a good move by King of All there.
They're attacking us. We're being attacked.
As you can see, there's still Scipii units attacking Crimson's units now, and King of All is being quite aggressive there. And also, if you notice, he's got his a cavalry unit there, a single cavalry unit. He just kind of uses as a probe. He just charges in a little bit into the enemy infantry and then pulls it back out there. As you can see here, Crimson's putting a couple of his forward units into Testudo. There you can see them just finishing off that movement there, where they have now covered themselves with their shields to give them good protection against pilers and enemy archers. If you notice out to the far left, you can see enemy Scipii cavalry moving out. And the archers have moved out even further to left now, and they're firing their fire arrows onto my units now.
We're being attacked!
If you notice that the Scipii army facing me is now starting to become aggressive and are attacking my forward units there. As I said, the Scipii archers are firing fire arrows onto my forward units to lower their morale, so when his infantry actually hits, it's more than likely they're probably going to rout a few of my forward units there, especially the piler shield units there. As you can see, there's a close-up of some of my units throwing pilers into the advancing Scipii infantry there. At the moment, it's a very aggressive attack on the front of my army. And also, if you notice that over on the right there, Crimson's being attacked quite aggressively by King of All as well. If you notice here, Crimson's taken a couple of his reserve units that were at the back up to the forward position there, and here he's going to charge in his 3 units of cavalry, and King of All is probably going to counter with his 5 units of cavalry, and there you go, there goes the cavalry charge. Now if you notice at the rear, you can see that I am now charging my cavalry in to support Crim, but you will notice that the enemy Scipii cavalry on our left is now moving around behind us. But I feel that if I don't charge in to help Crim here, possibly his army is going to chain rout and we could lose our right flank. But if you notice now that the enemy Scipii cavalry that was on my side are now crashing in behind my cavalry. If you notice, I've run a couple of my infantry units over to that cavalry to try and blunt their attack a little bit, if you like. I'm still got my cavalry engaged with the Scipii infantry and cavalry that attacked Crimson, just to try and hold the line a little bit there, while my infantry try and tackle the enemy Scipii cavalry that got behind me. But if you notice, several of Crimson's units are starting to rout now, and I must say things are not looking very good on our right flank at the moment. Also, you can see that the enemy archers have moved round to the right and are firing fire arrows into us. As you see there, Crimson's general's just been killed, and we've got archers onto our far right and our far left firing fire arrows into our army, lowering our morale all the time. If you notice, there's volley after volley of fire arrows going into us. So as I said, things are not looking very good on our right flank at the moment. If you notice, my army here on the left is also being engaged heavily by the enemy Scipii army. And if you notice here that I've moved my cavalry over to the rear and have intercepted some of the Scipii cavalry that was coming in behind us. If you notice, my cavalry is also getting fire arrowed as well, so I'm going to pull them out of range. Those archers are causing us so many problems that I think what I'm going to do is try and hit them over on the right flank with my cavalry to try and stop them firing so many fire arrows into us, because the lowering of morale is really starting to tell on our troops here. If you notice, Crimson's got a few battle damaged units left there on the right flank, and is doing a good job at holding the enemy Scipii infantry and the cavalry there, because what they would like to do is force their way through our right flank and get behind my engaged fighting infantry and charge in, hoping to rout my infantry there. So those few battle damaged units that Crimson's got there is doing really good. If you notice, I'm charging my cavalry in over on the right flank there, but I've noticed that King of All has seen that and has sent his infantry to intercept my cavalry, so I'm not going to charge into them, because all that would happen is I'd lose a lot of my cavalry. I'm now going to move them out round away from that infantry. Now if you notice that the Scipii army that was opposite me is fully engaged with my infantry now, so a cavalry charge into the back of them could cause a mass rout. If you notice now, I'm just charging my cavalry in now, and I'm charging them in at an angle so that I'm kind of hitting everything as I go through. And if you notice there, bang, as that cavalry attack hit, it caused a real mass rout of the enemy infantry that were fighting my infantry. So now that's kind of changed things a little bit there on that left flank. But King of All's victorious infantry there is still attacking us quite vigorously on the right there. And as I say, Crim's battle damaged units are doing really well to stop them from getting in behind my units there. If you notice, I'm charging my cavalry again, aiming for the Scipio General. Bang! As my cavalry hit, they managed to kill that Scipio General, so that will then lower the morale of his existing troops. And if you notice, I think they're probably all routed. I've just sent my infantry over to the right flank now to help King of All. Sorry, to help my teammate Crim's near against King of All. And it looks like we finally managed to rout them. If you look at the dead on the battlefield there's loads and loads of dead. It's almost like a 3v3 or 4v4 battle with the amount of dead that are there, especially the cavalry. You can see loads and loads of cavalry there. So that was a really intense 2v2 there, and I must say, I thought we might have lost it there on our right, but through great Brotherhood teamwork we managed to pull it back. I'd just like to say really well played to everybody in the game, and as I said, I thought, and probably the other players in the game thought we might have lost it there on the right, but through great Brotherhood teamwork we managed to pull that battle back, and it was a great battle to be in. If you notice that I got pretty good kills in that game, but that was through, if you notice, I was being extremely aggressive with my cavalry and infantry. To get good kills, you need to be aggressive. The Spartan Commander saying, hope you enjoyed the battle, and see you soon.